Hey, good morning, Nelson. This is a demo video for you for your 7 Chambers and Veracity Labs Magic a Myth Luke Skywalker Saber. This is installed with a Proffie. It's got a custom crystal chamber that I machined for you. I went ahead and swapped out the pieces right here. I had accidentally had them swapped on the wrong grenade sections. So yesterday, I had the copper one on this one, which is the uneven ring. So as you can see here, the uneven ring grenade section now has the aluminum piece. You'll be getting that painted later, so that's on there. I also installed your idealized grenade section, so all even rings here with the copper section. So we'll go over both of these. All right. One of the things that you had mentioned was the person that was going to paint it wanted to make sure that it was clocked correctly. When clocking it, what he's talking about really is this, and this is kind of like your blade plug. So you have that, let me put this saber down so that I could focus on it. But if you look closely at this piece right here, you've got that grub screw right there. And if you look right next to my pinky, you've got that little divot right there. All right, so what this does, I'll use this one since it's not on the saber, is when you're not putting a saber in it, you basically just come over here and you screw this down. All right, screw this down all the way. This is kind of a blade plug. It gives you that accuracy look. If you don't like the way that this is clocked, or if it's in the wrong section or whatever, what I would suggest is buying a small O-ring and just putting it around right here. So again, let me try to focus on it. Putting it around right here at the base of the threads. So that way when you put this on, you can clock that grub screw and that little dimple that's located right there in the ring. You can put that wherever you like and it will be accurate. All right, that is what I would suggest doing there, because as far as this goes, it just screws down all the way. All right, so we'll put that here. Leave that on. You don't want to hand crank this too tight. Just put it on there and it's good to go. This one we'll go over first just because it's on the Saber. You're running Carl Chen V4 Neopixel connectors in both of these. All right. This has the emitter ring on it for when you use a blade. I don't have your blade today. My blade stock material comes in tomorrow, so I will make that blade tomorrow. I've got most of it made right here. I've got your strips right here actually. I've got most of it made. I'll make it tomorrow. I'll send you a short video that it fires up and you'll be good to go. But when you have a blade and you want to put it in, the first thing you'll want to do is come over here and take this off. All right, so we'll unscrew this. I'm going to try not to drop this guy. But when you unscrew that, that exposes your blade retention screw, which is right here in your threads. It's that little grub screw right there. So you'll put your blade down in here. You'll slide this over your blade, or sometimes if your blade is if it's too big in diameter and it won't slide down this way, what I typically will do is I'll take my blade at the base, I'll slide this up onto the blade. This is not a recessed blade, so I won't be able to do it. But I'll put my recessed blade in here, lock it down with that grub screw, and then I'll take this and I'll slide it down and screw it down into the emitter. And that's how you put a blade in. All right, but we don't have one right now. So easy enough to do though. And then screw this down. When you lock in that grub screw to your blade, you're going to want to make sure that you bite into the blade pretty hard, because if that grub screw is up above those threads at all, this piece will not screw on correctly. All right, so make sure you do that. But moving forward, or moving down rather, this is a 2-button setup, so your power switch will be right here. Really focused on my face and not the saber. There we go. Your power switch is in the back right here. Your auxiliary switch is towards the front of the saber right here. You get your red and green LEDs. So I've got the 5 sound fonts on here that you sent me, but no matter what sound font we are on, the red and green LEDs will do the same. All right, so there will be, you'll have it's the cave scene basically. So they'll go and they'll alternate, but when the saber is on, as you'll see in a second, I made the green light stay on and I made the red one pulse. All right. I will throw up a copy of your config file here in a second on the screen, and I'll show you how I broke it down. It'll be very easy for you to make changes. All right. Coming over to the top of the board, or to the top of the control box, I left the clamp a little tight so it didn't just slide off, but you'll want to take it and slide it back. You probably need to use 2 hands, but when you slide it back, you'll have your reveal board right here that you can see inside of here, and that is also where your kill switch is located. So your kill switch being right there. All right, so that's how you turn the Saber on and off, and then when it's on, you know, you just slide this back into place just like that, and it will stay there. There's a fine line of sanding that card to where it fits, but it doesn't just slide out when you don't want it to. If you ever need to get to the board, what you want to do is unscrew the back piece. All right, we'll unscrew this entire thing as one piece. What you have in the back of this guy is a speaker pod. And it just says Solo Sabers over here for me in Arabic. But there is a 28mm Smuggler's Outpost Elite speaker in its own pod. It's fully encased, so this Saber is super loud. And that is how you take that off. When you take that off, it exposes your board. All right, so again, this is your board. It does say Solo Sabers again over here for me. You've got that stock pogo pin piece for your speakers. Down here, you have a 1.3mm recharge port. So if you don't have one already, this is old, so don't mind how dirty it is. It's got JB Weld on it and everything else. But this is a pretty standard recharge piece that you buy when you have in-hilt batteries. I can send you a link to the custom Saber shop, and it looks like this. I believe this is a 2.1mm, but then you buy an adapter that looks like this. All right, and I can send you the link to that as well. And all you do is you take that piece, you push it right in there like that, and this allows you to go into that recharge port and charge your Saber. All right, so that's what you'll need. Let me know if you need some links. But anyway, that's how you recharge the Saber. And that's also how you get to your board. So up top here, you have access to your SD card and your micro USB. This board is glued down to the shelf. You just take a pair of tweezers and you pull out that SD card, do what you want to do, and then push it back into place. And that's how you get that. All right, and then when you're done, of course, this just screws back on. Very easy to do. All right. I was very happy to see that you put the tri-ring on there, because that is something that I do not do. I always have a fear of scratching the aluminum because I've done that before, and I just don't do that anymore. So it was really nice to see that on there. The crystal chamber. Coming over here, you just want to unscrew your grenade section. All right. It can be a little tight. Don't worry, it'll come off. I did, I'll show you what I did here in a second. I took a little bit of length off of these threads. I left plenty of threading in there on both of these guys to lock into your Saber. I did the same thing here. I took the same amount off on both of these. I left plenty of room on here to lock into your Saber. I left a little bit of a gap, and I just machined that off down here so that I could have room for my crystal chamber. So this is the crystal chamber that I machined up for you. You've got a real quartz crystal in there. The main body of this crystal chamber is aluminum. So I machined it out of aluminum. You've got a brass holder in here for your actual crystal. You can see the crystal on both sides. All right, so I weathered everything, so it's got a darker look, but when you get it in person, you'll definitely be able to tell that that inner piece is brass. I did put a few guitar strings over here just to give it a little bit of an aesthetic. And then there's rod right here is actually a titanium rod. This is one of the extra titanium rods I had from the many Raxus installs that I've done. I heat stained it, and I thought it went really well right there. So you have a mix of aluminum, brass, and titanium on this crystal chamber. All right, you're actually running a third Carl Chen V4 Neopixel connector. So in this kit, in this installed kit, you have a total of 3 of these guys. All right, so, and that's what you've got there. I did add a little bit of greebly work here just to make it not so plain where the crystal is. I wanted to try to mess around with stuff like that. Give it a bit of a unique look. All right, so that's what we've got right there. When installing this, I made it to where it's screwed in. So it had the same threading as these grenades. I made it just a little bit bigger in diameter because I wanted it to be a little tough to screw in here. So when I got down to the bottom and I screwed it in and I locked it in place so this crystal aligned with the top of your control box, I wanted it to be a nice press fit. There wouldn't be any accidentally unscrewing this guy. All right, so that's what I did there. No adhesion, but that's not coming out unless you really just grab this thing and untwist it. Don't do that. All right, so all that being said, let's turn it on. We'll come down here. We will flip down our clamp card like that, just enough to get to our kill switch, and we'll come over here and flip our kill switch.
This is not going to go the way you think.
We'll close our clamp card back. You can see your red and green LEDs. This is the cave scene. And then you can see your crystal pulsing, and you can see it from both sides. All right, until we come over here and we turn it on. That's when I make your crystal go solid. I made the green go solid, but I made the red pulse. All right, and then of course you've got your Neopixel connector up here, which lights up as well. Saber is very loud. And everything reacts to the auxiliary button being pressed. Or blade lock up, which is hold down auxiliary and hit the saber. You can see that in your crystal chamber. All right, and then we just twist off. Both of these grenades are set up the same way. So let me take this piece back off. Your blade plug, basically. All right. Both of these are set up the same way. So you have a Carl Chen Neopixel connector in each one. There we go. And then in each of these you have a blade side connector inside of the grenade section. All right, so let's use this one that's got the ring on it first. We'll just come down here, carefully slide it on, and screw it in. It's a little tight. You're going to feel it's a little tight. Just keep going. I put some lithium grease on the thread, so it's good to go. You want to tighten it down until there's no gap right here. Tighten it as far as it will go. It locks into place. And now we can come over here and hit power again. And your emitter will light up. So that's how we light the blade. All right. If we want to trade sound fonts, we will hit auxiliary. Now, most all of your fonts were Luke fonts. And, well, they're all Luke fonts, but most of them required a green blade. So you're going to have a green blade and a green crystal. The only one that's a different color is your A&H. I made that blue. All right, so we'll hit auxiliary.
Luke Skywalker.
You've got a mixture of Kyberphonic and K-Sith fonts on here. I'm not going to remember them all, but I'm going to try. You've got A&H Training, The Return, Rescue, LS6, and you've got and Grumpy Uncle. All right, so now would be a good time to bring up your config file. I'm not going to show you all of it, just a nice little clip here that shows you what it's easy to do. All right, so as you can see, I've got each line of code broken down into the main blade, the crystal chamber, the red accent, the green accent, and that's it. Every sound font has 4 blade styles. So you can go in there, you can see what line is what, you can change whatever you like, or you can copy that whole section for a sound font, paste it down below, and you can add a whole new one. All right, so hopefully that's easy to follow for you. Let's go to another one.
Are you a Jedi? I am.
You got good flash on flash.
If you will not turn to the dark side, then perhaps she will. What is it? Father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight.
So this one will be blue. All right, and if we wanted to take this off while the saber was on, which you can. Whoops, you got twist off. Sorry about that. Just untwist your grenade section without twisting the saber for the twist off feature. You've got a blue crystal here. Blue blade, all right. So we went over this one that had the emitter ring on it, and it had the uneven grenade section. We're going to put this off to the side, and I'll show you that your even grenade section works with the copper neck. All right, so again, we'll just put this on here the same way. Screw it all the way down. Come over here, hit power. So now you're lighting up over there too, all right? Show you the green one.
Master Skywalker.
All right, that's your second grenade section. And then when we're done, we just want to come over here and slide our clamp car down a little bit again so that we can have access to the kill switch. We'll hit power. And then we'll actually flip it off from the kill switch in here. If I can reach it with my finger, just like that, and it kills power like it should. All right, now this is a brand new battery that I wired up in here. So when you get it, you will want to charge it. I charged it for about 10 minutes before I did this demo video, and that's not enough time for a full brand new battery. But anyway, that is your Luke Skywalker Magic of Myth lightsaber. Let me know if you have any questions. I will get your blade made tomorrow and show you a short video of that firing up, and then I will get this out in the mail to you tomorrow. All right, thanks, Nelson.